We're Violet Saint, a new studio, and we want to create cool premium indie games. We want to write amazing stories, create horror, surreal, action adventure games with a touch of dark humor, and we want them to be fun. At the moment, I'm the only developer of the game. I'm Alex, and I've been a CGI artist since I can remember. Starting from architectural modeling, rendering, I changed domains and jumped ship to the gaming industry. With over 11 years of experience and working for different studios like Gameloft, Atypical Games, and more. I've done a lot of jobs like 2D artist, 3D artist, animator, technical, and lead artist. The game is fully developed in Unreal 4, and the last 2 years were dedicated to understanding Unreal Engine and coding in Blueprint. So Moroi is a top-down action RPG with classical adventure elements and a heavy focus on story and dialogue. The player has the freedom to craft, then combine and randomize basic weapon elements, each weapon being a mix of its parts, both in aspect and stats. The game is built upon 3 main pillars. So the first pillar of Moroi is the interaction with the NPCs. The NPCs in this game are rich characters with backstories and can be interacted with. Delivered in interesting and mysterious lines, the dialogue is an important gameplay element in Moroi. Many NPCs will give or request quest items that the player will use to move forward in the game. Most of the game story will be revealed through interactions with the NPCs. The second pillar of Moroi is the inventory and the creation of items, weapons, and weapon parts. So the weapon parts can be combined to create ranged or melee weapons whose stats will be a combination of the weapon parts used. The weapons will grow in level as they're being used, and they will change name, shape, and traits. The third pillar, and probably the most important pillar of Moroi, is the combat. The fighting is hectic, and it is created with a one-hit, one-kill mechanic in mind, even though that will change depending on how weak or strong your damage is compared to the enemies. You can have 1 melee weapon and 1 ranged weapon on yourself at any time, so you can change between them on the fly. The game flow is made so that the fighting areas follow the dialogue adventure areas and back again. On the marketing side of things, apart from social media, I have in plan to attend to as many conferences as possible, as well as participating in many game contests for building awareness on Moroi. Regarding the trailers and teasers, I think they will be made in-house, but for the community building and marketing and PR side of things, I'm looking for support from the publisher. Production timeline will be split in 4 quarters, each one covering a full game level and the logic behind it. We're aiming for between 12 and 14 months of development time. The core team should be made of 4 persons that will handle the main development tasks, which is mechanics, art, and logic, while the music will be outsourced. Here are 3 questions to help define us better. So why are we making this game? There's a strong need of different games of interesting and unconventional characters and surreal stories. We try to achieve that and merge it with visceral, alert, and fun gameplay. Now what happens after the release? We fix bugs and then we immediately start working on Moroi 2. What are the expectations for this title? We expect it to be a well-received title with sales between 40K and 80K units. While at the moment the team is just 1 man, I believe that Moroi looks and feels promising and definitely is a game that will raise interest because the mixture of surreal horror, folklore, dark fantasy, and humor is pretty unique, and it has crafting, and it looks good. What we're looking for in you is development, funding, store support, marketing and PR support, localization, QA, maybe porting services, and of course, a partner that loves us and our game. That was it. Thank you very much for being here. Here are some official links and please check them out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. The guy with the smiling face was kind of creeping me out with the black eyes, taunting me. Michael, any questions you want to jump in with first?
Actually, I have a question of my own. I don't think you mentioned the sales price, Alex. Is that to be confirmed?
Yes, sorry. Sale price should be, I think, between $15 and $20.
Okay. And related to price points, do you have a sense of what the budget is? I mean, if you're looking for a publisher to come on board, I mean, ballpark, what's the funding range you think?
Around 150,000.
Okay, and then that's enough to put the rest of the team together to deliver on the time frame that you proposed.
Yeah, it's kind of a minimum, but I think it can do.
Okay, cool. I'm curious to know your thoughts about Twitch and how you see this game being impacted by people viewing it being played on Twitch. What do you think the effect is of that?
Well, first of all, my game addresses people who like stories, and it's actually a single player game, so I don't quite see it being played as a multiplayer one. But for those who enjoy a story and like games like, let's say, In the Woods or Undertale,
Mm.
I think it will attract people, at least just because of the interesting characters and of the weird story that I really hope you'll see soon.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something to think about because I mean the game does have a very unique art style, very compelling art style, and as you say, the humor in the world does sort of draw attention. But to the extent that it's a single player and sort of a story based game, there's always a danger that I just watch the game on Twitch and then I enjoy watching, but I never go buy the game.
yes,
Yeah.
that's the problem with the single player games.
Yeah, I mean, I think the systemic weapons and stuff. I mean that may provide some kind of uniqueness there, where I see that your weapons work one way, but if I play, I have a different kind of setup of my
Yep.
weapon. So, I mean, that's certainly something that makes it more variable, that then can inspire people who
Yeah.
end up watching. All right, I think we have another question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Someone was asking. So you've mentioned the team. I think there was 4 or 5 artists, and you already mentioned a kind of timeline. But can you explain a little bit more about like the onboarding? When do they come on to the process?
So when is the team going to start?
Yeah.
Well, basically, as soon as I give the start. I mean, let's say, as soon as I get the first investment part, um, I can already gather up the people. So I think it's 2 weeks or something like that.